Our population has grown in just less than 100 years from 2.5 billion to where we're going to be at over 9 billion. This is for many reasons. We're living longer. Babies are living longer when they're born. We have better medicine than we did, antibiotics, cleaner water, better places to live, and numerous other reasons we're going to go through. This is smallpox, which has been eradicated off the face of the earth. If you remember from our other slideshow, we talked about smallpox and how many people it killed. 300 million. Bubonic plague, named after the buboes, or the lymph nodes that were swollen, as they called them back then, with the infection of the bubonic plague. You can see here, the lymph nodes under a person has it on their armpit, as well as in their upper leg. Polio, a vaccine that also helped eradicate a disease that called crippling for thousands of years. Most people don't realize that bubonic plague, while it came from rats, was actually transferred from rats to fleas, who then bit the humans. Interestingly, the bubonic plague actually originated from China with Genghis Khan as he traveled and marauded throughout Western Asia and Europe, as well as Africa. Penicillin originated from moldy bread and is still derived from that today. It was first discovered when moldy bread was eaten by prisoners back in prisons, when they wouldn't give them that good of food, and found out no one was really getting sick. They studied, it was the penicillin on the moldy bread that was allowing them not to get sick. Thomas Malthus was an ecologist and scientist in the 1700s, and basically said as the population increases, and it's not just humans, but any population, the food sources will not keep up with the growth of population. And the point of crisis is when there is more individuals consuming sources than the sources can grow more food. An example of Malthus's idea is shown on the resource competitors, and this exists all the time. You kill all the predators, then all the consumers of food will grow and grow and grow their population, and they'll starve to death because they've eaten all the food. Many problems caused by overpopulation is it does degrade the environment. There's not enough food, so people are hungry, and there's more people than there are jobs available, resulting in poverty. This also results in environmental stagnation, a limited urban growth, and with so much poverty and not enough people working, health issues. This is a sex demograph. What is on the left are blue, and that is men. What's on the right is pink, that's women. And you can see it's broken up by age groups of 4. So in other words, on the very bottom, this is the number of individuals, both male and female, between the ages of 0 and 4. That second one from the bottom, 5 to 9, that's the number of individuals between ages 5 to 9, both male and female, that are on in the United States. And as you can see here, the farther up you go, especially in later years, the smaller and smaller that those graph bars become. That's because people are dying. You don't have as many 74-year-olds as you do 60 to 69-year-olds. You don't have that many 95, 99-year-olds as you do 50-year-olds. Here's where it becomes really interesting. We talked about the United States in the previous graph, but you look at other countries here. Rapid growth. And these ages are broken up the same way as before. A lot more younger people in Guatemala, Nigeria, Saudi Arabia than our older people, and that's fine. The long-term concern is these younger people are going to become adults. Will there be jobs and space for them? Zero growth. The United States is pretty much within that. That means as many people are dying as are being born every day. That's a balance. And then negative growth. The real concern here is you got more older people than young people. In fact, the real problem is if you look at it, the green bars, these are ages 15 to about 45. And you can go a little farther than that. These are the people that are working. If you've got more people that aren't working, they're being supported by the people that are working, it won't last that long. The worst part is the negative growth. There's even less kids than there are adults. So who's going to replace those jobs in the future? Countries in the Middle East, such as Bahrain, where the women are treated rather poorly, are finding more and more women leaving that country. And unfortunately, there's more men than there are women. And the real problem is you need about the same amount of young women as you men to keep a population going. Too many men, not enough women, you're going to have a population decline. This is a prime example of how population differences between sexes can affect long-term growth. In Russia, in the 20s and 30s, Stalin killed 20 million men. World War II killed 20 million more people, resulting in 1/5 of the population dying. There's more women than men, and to this day, 80 years later, we still have more women than men. As I said with Bahrain, you need fairly equal amounts, especially younger people. They have still not recovered 80 years later. When we're looking at the ages, especially of women, in these populations, it's more important to have more younger women and older women. As you can see here, the age factor. The older a woman gets, the less likely they will be able to conceive and give birth. Where someone ages 22 to 26 has a 25% chance of being pregnant every month. By the time you're 40, it's only about 7%, and 48 about 1%. Here we have fertility rates by country. You see a lot more fertility within Africa, as well as the Middle East, than compared to the Western countries. In other words, the deepest red, the average woman has 7.6, gives birth 7.6 times, where in the United States it's about 2 times. Unfortunately, high fertility rates do not mean more children. As you see, the mortality rates also just as high within these same areas. A lot of these areas are very rural, and women don't have access to modern medicine. Contraceptive use has increased over 30 years throughout the world. And when women can control when they have a kid, economically they'll be better off as well. That's why you see better economics throughout the world. Also interesting, within these contraceptive methods, number one throughout the world is still the pill, followed by female sterilization, the condom number 3, the IUD number 4, male sterilization, also known as a vasectomy, a distant 5/5. On average, the more money a family makes, the less number of kids they'll have. Why? It's hard to live at a higher economic income level the more kids you have. People do not want to go to a smaller house where they have more kids. They're going to stop having kids and have a few so they can stay at the same income level they were when they started. Throughout the last 150 years, you can see how, even while the population has grown, the number of people within a family has declined quite a bit. 170 years ago, the average family had 12 kids. Very few households. However, now we have almost 8 million households throughout the United States, and the average of 2 kids per family. Irish potato famine killed approximately 25% of Ireland in 1850. The problem was very lower income people were not probably taken care of by their motherland, England. And when the potato famine hit, it wiped out the only potato they had, the Irish lumper, as saw on the previous page. 25% of the people died from starvation, and another 25% subsequently moved to the United States. As you can see from this graph, to this day, while Europe has increased in population, Ireland has still not recovered from the original population of 170 years ago.